Hello and welcome to this ESOL lesson planning screencast. My name is Robert Martinez and today we're going to be looking at suggested planning steps for skills and language lessons. This is my methodology pill number 27. Now, whenever we approach a lesson, we can broadly say that there are two main types of lessons. Skills-based lessons where you want to develop skills, listening, reading, speaking, writing, or language-based lessons where you want to develop the students' language knowledge, grammar, vocabulary, functions, basically the idea is that whenever you approach your lesson planning, there are some suggested steps that may make your planning a little bit easier. So the first step would be to identify the text. Now, why a text? If you are following a guided discovery approach or a text-based approach, then your text would embed the language, the target language that you're going to be dealing with in the lesson. In skills, reading or listening, so receptive skills work, then you would have either a written or a spoken text. If for your language lesson there's no text already in the course book, then you can create your own story or situation or context which embeds the target language. Obviously context here being the key word. The second step would be to then complete a skills analysis sheet where you look at what those soft skills you are going to be focusing in the classroom are, or a language analysis sheet where you analyze the language that you're going to be dealing with in the classroom. So in terms of skills, you would be thinking carefully about how you're going to be working on developing their skimming skills or listening for gist or reading for gist, how you're going to be developing their scanning for details or listening for details, drawing inferences, if that is a sub-skill that you want to focus on. Here it is obviously an example, or any other relevant sub-skill. So the idea is that before you actually tackle the text, you are thinking of how and which sub-skills you want to develop in that lesson. If your lesson is language, then you would be thinking about the meaning, form, pronunciation, and usage of your target language, which is embedded in the text. By analyzing it, you would be better prepared to guide the students in their discovery of that language or in the development of those skills. First step would be then identifying what you're going to be doing as a leading or warmer, whether you want or need to pre-teach any vocabulary, and preparing a gist task for your lesson. So obviously this is the third step, because having already done the skills analysis, if it is a skills lesson, or the language analysis if it is a language lesson, then it means that you now can decide on whether how your warmer is going to be related to the text and make sense and be logical. Now, the warmer doesn't necessarily have to be related to the rest of the lesson, but it does make sense if there is some connection and you help them prepare themselves for the lesson by activating prior knowledge. Now, because, as I said before, this may be a guided discovery or text-based lesson, then you may need to pre-teach any vocabulary that would stop them from being able to complete the gist task, the general understanding task, or if it is skills, the general understanding, so the skimming, scanning, and any other skills, sub-skills tasks. So remember, pre-teaching vocabulary is not random vocabulary, is not all the vocabulary. Usually literature says a few words that may stop them from being able to answer the gist task or the skimming or scanning task. Now, because we use a text for language, in this language lesson, if we are following a guided discovery or text-based lesson again, then you would have a gist task to make sure that the students have a general understanding of the text before they jump into the analysis or discovery of the target language. So once you have these 3 steps, then you can start thinking about how you're going to develop your skills, if it is a skills-based lesson, or how you're going to approach the language if it is a language-based lesson. Once you've done that, the fourth step would be to feedback and clarify what they did throughout the guided discovery if it is a language-based lesson, or start your post-skills stage or extension where they react to the text. The final step then would be to provide the students with controlled and freer practice if it is a language-based lesson, or provide them with that post-skills task, which usually would be either speaking or writing. I've said many times that, for example, speaking is one of the skills that they get to do least outside the classroom, so we tend to provide them with more speaking tasks when doing a receptive skills lesson, because at least they have that extra opportunity to talk about the text they read or listened to. But it's also possible to have them do a writing task if it is the natural and logical follow-up for the skills work. Okay, so I hope that this screencast helps you with your planning, helps you identify the different steps, what you can do, what you should be doing, and that you are better prepared for lesson planning and for your delivering and teaching your lessons. Remember that at the heart of the lesson, it is the text, but even before that, you're planning your lessons for your students, so you know exactly whether the text that you have is suitable for them or not, and what steps you need to take in order to make sure that they get the most of your skills-based lesson or language-based lesson. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for the next methodology pill. Thank you.